Good morning, boys and girls. So today we're going to look at classifying triangles. So like we talked about yesterday with your quadrilaterals, we are still going to tie in the angle names, helping us to identify the first set of triangles. And then we're going to look at some side names. There are some tricks with the side names that I will gladly share with you to help you remember these. Biggest thing with triangles is that triangles have two names. They're going to have an angle name and a side name. Angle name is going to come first. The different angle names that we're going to have for triangles is acute, right, and obtuse. So these are the same names that we've been working with for a while now, the different angle names. They're not going to change, and they're still just going to have the same classifications that they've had previously. So an acute triangle is going to have all angles are acute. And again, just to reiterate and clarify, acute means that they're going to be less than 90 degrees. So a lot of times an acute triangle is going to look like kind of your average triangle where it's just straight up and down and then across. It's going to have all acute angles. A right triangle is going to have one angle is right. And again, that right angle is going to be that 90-degree angle that we've talked about. So those triangles can look like this. And again, what we talked about with these right angles, sometimes they're not going to have that box or that square where the right angle is, but sometimes they will. So we'll go ahead and draw that in there just to help you remember that that is a right angle. So since it's a right angle, it's going to be a right triangle. The last type of angle triangle that we're going to look at is obtuse. And these are going to have those really, really big angles, and then they'll come over. So it's going to have that obtuse angle. And again, just like we talked about with the quadrilaterals yesterday, it does not matter if these triangles are turned on their side, if they're flipped to the other side, if they're upside down. As long as it has their acute angles, it's always going to be acute. If it has that one right angle, it's going to be right. And if it has one obtuse angle, it's going to be obtuse. And that obtuse angle, again, is going to be the greater than 90 degrees. Going to be one of those bigger angles. Okay? So now going into the side triangles. These names are a little bit trickier. However, I promise I have some helpful hints that can help us get through this. Okay, so we're going to come down here and then we're going to talk about the side names, classifying them based upon their sides. The first triangle that we're going to look at is going to be an equilateral. And with an equilateral triangle, all sides are the same length. And then one word that we hear in this name of equilateral is equal. So that's the way that we're going to remember our equilateral triangle, and that all sides are the same length, all sides are equal to each other. Going back to what we did yesterday with our quadrilaterals, with our side triangles, we're going to bring back in those tally marks, those dashes, whatever you choose to call them. And we're just going to add one to each side, just like we did with that square, to represent that all of these sides are the same length. Moving on to our next triangle, our side triangle, it's going to be isosceles. And with an isosceles triangle, this one is going to have two sides are the same length. And one way to remember an isosceles triangle is to turn it into your eyes. You have two eyes, so two sides are the same length. So with our isosceles triangle, again going back to our dashes, our tally marks, I'm going to add two on the bottom and then one on each side to represent that these sides are the same length, and this bottom one is going to be our different length. The last type of side triangle that we are going to look at is called a scalene. A scalene triangle is going to have no sides are the same length. All sides are different. And the way that we can remember our scalene triangle is to think about scales. Think about some fish scales or even some snake scales. I'm just thinking about how with the fishes, no two fish are the same, just kind of like with us. No two people are the same. So with our fish being, the scales being different, that's how we're going to remember that all sides are different and then no sides are the same length. So with our scalene triangle, thinking about our dashes, our tally marks, instead of having 1 or 2, we're now going to have 3 to represent that all 3 sides are different lengths. Okay, so for today, boys and girls, you're just going to focus on identifying triangles based upon the angles. Then you're going to identify triangles based upon their sides. It's not going to be until tomorrow that you get into classifying them with both names. So for today, you do have 2 assignments. You're going to have a reading passage based upon classifying triangles. You have 5 short answers to fill in. And then you are going to have the worksheet that has you classifying triangles based upon their angles. Again, we have our right, obtuse, and acute. You have 7 of these to classify. And then on the back, you have your sides with scaling, those fish scales, isosceles, equilateral, and then you have 7 of these as well. Do not forget, boys and girls, to fill out those Google Forms. Let us know when you're done, and then we can talk about your answers.